Cancer, deep waters of the Zodiac. Have you felt it? A profound, gentle, stirring not in the churning ocean but in the sacred depth of your very soul. What if I were to tell you that this feeling, this subtle yet undeniable shift carries your name, not as a passing whisper on the wind but as a sacred hum that has begun to rise from the spirit world, a resonance called forth by something ancient and true? Yes, Cancer, this is how it begins. For what has found you here in this very moment is not just another message drifting on the currents of chance. It is a divine flow of grace, and it is turning toward you. This is a homecoming you have been preparing for across a lifetime, and it is finally gently arriving at your shore. This alignment, this sacred meeting of time and spirit, is the kind that surfaces only when a soul is truly ready to receive it. And the fact that you have been guided here to this exact space, to this precise breath, was no accident. It was a pull from your own deep intuition, a knowing part of you that recognized a familiar call. Something rare is opening, Cancer. Something holy is listening. And the profound unfolding that is beginning now, it is happening for you. This message is unlike any that has flowed through this space before. As I sat in the quiet preparing to connect with your energy, the room did not just become still. It felt as if it were holding its breath, the air growing thick with a presence that was both powerfully protective and profoundly peaceful. The altar candles, whose flames have danced with steady devotion for years, did not just sputter. They softened into nothing, a brief and sacred darkness, only to reignite a moment later with a light that felt ancient and deeply comforting. And it was in that hallowed silence that I felt it, a presence so unmistakable it could only be of the divine. Archangel Gabriel had entered this sanctuary. He did not arrive with thunder or with force, but with a stillness so vast it held the weight of eternity. And in that stillness, your name, Cancer, was not spoken, but felt a vibration of pure, nurturing love and recognition. I need you to breathe that, insensitive soul. I need you to understand what this truly means. You are no longer waiting for a sign from the universe. You are the sign. The compassionate heart you have cultivated, the sanctuary you have created for others, the gentle rhythm of your own intuition that is the sacred frequency that is now calling grace toward you. Every share, every heartfelt comment you leave on our channel, Zodiac of Mind, deepens this sanctuary we are creating together. Your presence is a thread of light in this beautiful tapestry, helping this message reach other souls who are ready for their own peace. So before we step deeper into this current, I invite you to anchor your intention with us. Subscribe to this channel and then let your spirit speak by writing in the comments below. I am ready to receive this sacred truth. It is more than just a phrase. It is an act of opening. It tells the universe with your whole heart that you are here ready to be held by the grace you so freely give to others. And if you can feel what I feel, that quiet, certain sense that something immense and beautiful is about to unfold, then I invite you to stay close. Let this message wash over you, because what is about to be revealed will not just surprise you. It may gently reshape the way you see every step of the journey that has brought you to this moment. So let me ask you this, Cancer. What have you been doing in the quiet moments, in the unseen spaces of your own heart, to stir something this profound? What act of silent nurturing, what choice to protect your own tender spirit when the world was harsh, has called an Archangel to witness your becoming? This is not a random turn of events. This is a sacred response. You have ignited something deep and true within your own being. And as this message unfolds, you will begin to feel the gentle gravity of what that truly means. Stay with me, because something holy is beginning to breathe through these words just for you. Imagine this, Cancer. You are standing at the edge of a life, and you realize with a soft and certain knowing that parts of it no longer feel like they belong to your inner sanctuary. The old shells, the relationships, the routines, the beliefs you have carried for so long have begun to loosen their hold. Not with a sudden break, but like the tide gently receding from the shore, preparing to reveal new, untouched sand. And yet, there is no fear in this space. It feels less like a collapse and more like the deep waters within you are finally taking a cleansing, restorative breath. This is not destruction, gentle soul. This is realignment. The place where you find yourself right now is not a punishment or a pressure. It is a soft redirection. It is a gentle hand on your shoulder guiding you away from the well-worn path and into the sacred rhythm that has always been meant for you. When I speak of a profound shift, I am not speaking in metaphors alone. In the language of the stars, there is a sacred geometry at play. A 180-degree alignment often asks us to turn and face the parts of ourselves we have lovingly set aside, to gaze into the mirror of our own soul and remember the truth of who we were always meant to be. And for you, Cancer, intuitive nurturing, a soul ruled by the deep truths of the moon cycles, this is not a mere adjustment. It is an emotional emancipation. What feels like it is dissolving around you now is not crumbling to cause you pain. It is gently shedding away to reveal the unshakable emotional foundation that has always lived beneath. It is revealing the part of you that has always been whole, the part that was simply tucked away beneath years of holding space for others, of bending in places you should not have had to, of doing what was needed just to protect. Sometimes, the universe does not shake the walls of our lives to break them down. Sometimes it rattles them just enough to awaken our spirit, to remind us of the strength we have forgotten we possess. So if it feels as though things are slipping through your fingers, like the emotional security you held so tightly is beginning to unravel, or the version of yourself you once knew is becoming harder to define, I invite you to simply pause, take a deep, slow breath. What you are walking through may not be loss at all. It might be a sacred refinement. Life is not removing what is good. It is gently returning you to what is real. And the version of you that is beginning to surface now in this newfound space is steadier, clearer, and more vibrant than the one you have spent years protecting. This is where your faith deepens, Cancer. Not just a faith in divine timing or in the stars above, but a faith in the quiet, unwavering knowing that is rooted deep within your own heart. From all the seasons I have spent walking with others through their sacred crossroads, one truth has always remained. The holiest moments of our lives often arrive disguised as disruption. It is in the chapters where things seem to be slipping away that something sacred is usually planting deep, unshakable roots right beneath our feet. You may not see the full bloom just yet, but it is already becoming. We do not always get to choose the shape of the shift or the moment it begins, but we always get to choose how we walk through it. Those gentle nudges from your intuition, the feeling that it is time to step away from a draining emotional situation to loosen your hold on an old story of needing to protect everyone, to finally say a soft but firm no to what no longer nourishes your soul. These are not mistakes. These are divine breadcrumbs gently pulling you back into alignment with your deepest truth. There is something profoundly beautiful in learning to let go without bitterness, not from a place of fear or shame, but with a quiet reverence. It is like allowing the tide to recede. You do not stop it because the ocean has failed, but because you know with an ancient wisdom that it holds the promise of an even more magnificent return. And Cancer, that is exactly where you are now. You are not fading. You are getting ready to flow. In a world that so often demands quick answers and constant certainty, this season of your life is asking you to find a deep and abiding peace in the pause. It is asking you to lean into this sacred rebalancing. And from where I stand walking this path that honors both the stars and the soul, I have seen how the most profound transformations so often arrive shrouded in a mist of uncertainty. If any part of you feels like your emotional center is being gently turned over, I ask you to trust that quiet shift. If certain doors are closing, if certain roles are no longer yours to hold, try to meet those endings not with panic, but with a soft and gentle gratitude. Not every ending is a loss, dear one. Some are divine invitations to begin again from a place of deeper wisdom and truth. Now, Cancer, let yourself feel the deep current beneath you, and with a soft breath, speak this into the space around you. or anchor it in our community by writing in the comments below. I am ready to release the old and receive the future I deserve. This is your offering of trust, your way of planting this sacred shift into the rich soil of your own heart. The bridge you are walking between what has been and what is coming may feel delicate, but it is holding you, and something greater is already reaching for you from the other side. Cancer, when repeating numbers or strange little synchronicities begin to thread themselves through the fabric of your days, it is rarely a coincidence. In the sacred language of energy, repetition is resonance. And resonance is a sign that something is gently calling to you, mirroring a frequency that is already alive within you. When you keep noticing the numbers 222 or 9, it is like feeling the soft pull of the moon humming in rhythm with a deep cosmic pulse. These signals are quiet reminders that your own energy, your own frequency, is beginning to synchronize with something far greater than your conscious mind can perceive. It is a reflection of the deep work you have done, the tender inner tending, the moments of chosen stillness, the quiet yet powerful choices you have made, all of which are now beginning to send soft, beautiful echoes into the world around you. In the language of astrology, when certain celestial patterns begin to repeat, it often signals a time when a soul is preparing to become more visible, not in a loud or demanding way, but in a way that carries deep emotional meaning and quiet influence. For you, Cancer, the water-rooted soul shaped by nurturing intuition and protective love, these numbers are not just signs of a spiritual presence. They are subtle yet powerful indicators that your life is entering a phase of calm equilibrium, a space where your natural empathy begins to gently guide not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. Until now, you may have looked outward for reassurance, scanning the world for signs that your quiet prayers, your heartfelt intentions, or your slow and patient healing had been heard. But this message has arrived to tell you that you are no longer searching for the proof. You have become the proof. The nurturing presence, the emotional steadiness, the soft strength you have, so lovingly cultivated within yourself, is now something that people can feel in your very being. You may begin to notice others turning toward you not with demands but with questions, seeking your calm, seeking your clarity. This is not a pressure, Cancer. It is a validation. It is the universe's way of gently reminding you that the light you once thought you had to search for has been growing quietly inside of you all along. And if this still feels too abstract, imagine how the moon experiences its phases. For so long, it seems as though it is retreating, growing smaller. But then one night, it begins to wax, growing fuller, as if by magic. These repeating numbers, these sudden invitations, these moments of profound synchronicity, they are those first tender waxes. They are the signs that your season of showing of gentle blossoming has truly arrived. Energetically, this is the moment when manifestation becomes magnetic because your internal reality and the outer world have finally started to match their pace. And if you are wondering what you are meant to do with this beautiful energy, the answer is to soften into it, not to strive for it. You do not need to chase it, dear one. You simply need to embody it. Begin with gentle rituals that root you back into this present moment. Take a slow, deep breath before you answer a call. Pause before you reply to a message that stirs an old emotion. Allow yourself to walk a little more slowly as you reflect on a decision. These small, mindful acts hold your energy steady so that your influence remains sincere, grounded, and deeply felt. In the seasons I have spent guiding others through these sacred turning points, I have witnessed this truth over and over again. When someone fully accepts their own radiance, the right paths and the right people begin to appear as if by divine appointment. This is also the perfect moment to look around your life and gently ask what is feeding your spirit and what is not. What you allow into your sacred space now will either help your light stretch wider or cause it to dim. Choose conversations, environments, and daily rhythms that feel like fresh, clean water to your nervous system. Because when you nourish your inputs, your outputs, your ideas, your clarity, your quiet influence begin to carry a sacred weight. You are no longer just reflecting the world back to itself. You are helping to shape it just by being you. And because any transformation becomes real the moment we name it, I want to invite you to claim this shift, not just silently, but with presence. Write this affirmation in the comments below. I am ready to embody the light I have been seeking. When you speak your truth aloud or write it with intention, you begin to shape energy into form. It is like planting something sacred into the soil of your life, knowing with your whole heart that what is rooted in truth cannot help but rise. This quiet act carries profound weight. It is not just symbolic, it is spiritual. You are no longer waiting for life to choose you. You are stepping into it fully with the grace that only comes from a deep and grounded knowing. And this declaration is not just floating into a void. It is reaching the deepest parts of you, the inner soil that already knows it is time to bloom. Cancer, this is not preparation anymore. This is embodiment. When financial shifts begin to stir in the Cancer field of energy, they rarely arrive like a sudden flash of lightning or a stroke of luck. They come as a gentle reflection of your inner harmony. They mirror how you hold your own emotional security, how you have learned to tend to your inner wellspring, and how your relationship with receiving has softened and deepened over time. What is opening up for you now is not just a fleeting moment of gain. It is a slow, steady, and sacred rooting of your entire financial reality into a new ground of peace and security. Imagine your life as a cozy home that you have been patiently furnishing season after season. You have cleared the clutter of old scarcity beliefs, you have nurtured the space with integrity, you have protected your comfort with wise boundaries. And now the universe itself is turning toward you, bringing abundance. Not by chance, but because you have stayed faithful to the sacred process of your own growth. These turning points are often preceded by moments of discomfort, uncertainty about what is truly enough, questions about security, or a tension around the inherited beliefs about money and effort that were never truly yours to carry. But those moments were not setbacks, gentle soul. They were energetic audits. You have been quietly releasing what no longer aligns with your deepest values. And in the space you have created, something new and beautiful has begun to take root. This new current may flow to you in the form of an unexpected offer, a creative venture that finally finds its traction, or a long-standing gift of yours that is finally being seen, recognized, and valued by the world. The real question is not what arrives, but how you will meet it. Will you hold it with a sense of emotional sovereignty, knowing you are worthy, or will you allow old doubts to dictate your response? This is where the stars so beautifully reflect your timing. The moon, your planetary guide, often signals this kind of shift when it enters into a sacred partnership with planets like Jupiter or Neptune, which activate expansion and deep intuition. It is in these windows of time that the right mentors appear, that true allies recognize your integrity, and that opportunities rise up to meet the solid foundation of emotional security you have been so patiently building. That is not luck, Cancer. That is resonance. This is your moment to refine, not to rush. Begin to notice not just how money flows into your life, but how it feels. Where does it feel fluid and easy? Where does it feel resisted? Let that inner wisdom guide the systems you create to support your own autonomy and peace. Keep sacred objects close to you, perhaps a touch of silver for intuition, a pearl for emotional purity, or a moonstone for inner wisdom. Place them where you create, where you rest, where you dream. Let them be gentle, physical reminders of the inner wealth you already possess. And if you feel your giving has not been met with return, please remember this effort that is rooted in love is never ever wasted. Every hour you gave, every unseen act of care, each one was a seed. And the harvest always remembers the hands that planted it. Now, if you have felt burdened by money, by debt, by pressure, by an inherited weight that was not yours to carry, trust that this is your turning point. Not by a sudden miracle, but by the grounded, intentional way you now choose to move through the world. So speak this with your heart now. I receive the new financial system guided by Archangel Gabriel. Let that be your stake in the ground. The place where your energy, your value, and a deep spiritual reciprocity finally begin to meet. Let yourself open to that kind of peace. Let it find you. There are seasons in our lives when love does not strike like lightning or sweep in with the drama of a fairy tale. Instead, it reveals itself as a deep stillness, as a profound clarity that arrives after a long internal storm. Cancer, you are stepping into a new phase where love is no longer something you have to chase or fix or earn. It is becoming something that gently reflects you, not your effort, but your evolution. It is a quiet mirror of the healing, the boundaries, and the soft strength you have cultivated in the sacred silence of your own heart. This is not a chapter about falling in love with your eyes closed. It is a chapter about rising into love with your feet planted firmly on the ground and your heart finally truly at peace. The current cosmic climate that surrounds you, Cancer, reveals something deeply special. The moon, your ruling celestial body, is moving through a meaningful point in its cycle. And in the language of the stars, the moon speaks not only of our emotions, but of our intuition, of our need for security, and of our deepest desire for a sense of belonging. When the moon activates your chart with this kind of loving support, it is as if an emotional fog begins to gently lift. You begin to see others more clearly, and even more importantly, you begin to see yourself with a profound and gentle compassion. Where there was once uncertainty and love, now there is a quiet knowing. What once felt like a maybe is beginning to feel like a yes that you can truly trust. For those of you in relationships, this could feel like a gentle renewal, not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because both of you have shifted. You are beginning to see each other more truthfully now, not through the lens of projection or longing, but through the clear light of presence. You may find yourselves sharing honest words, offering forgiveness, or simply enjoying the profound simplicity of being together in ways that feel deeply healing. If a feeling of reconnection has been calling to you, this is your moment to lean into it, not out of pressure, but because your heart finally feels safe and ready. And if you are currently single, this energy is just as powerful, perhaps even more so. You are being drawn toward a connection that is rooted in truth, not in fantasy. It is not about finding someone to fix an old ache. It is about resonance. It is about two whole people meeting and recognizing something deeply familiar in each other's souls. This kind of soulmate does not arrive to complete you because you have already done the sacred work of coming home to yourself. In the tarot cards like the Moon, the Empress, and the Six of Cups, do not just point to romance. They speak of intuition, of nurturing, and of healing emotional echoes from the past. But these cards also whisper a deeper truth: love cannot meet you any more deeply than you have met yourself. So no more twisting yourself to fit into someone else's mold. No more confusing the feeling of anxiety for the feeling of chemistry. Let love feel like peace, like a true sanctuary for your heart, not like a battle you must win to prove that you are worthy. This is where your self-awareness becomes your greatest guide. Before moving forward in matters of the heart, ask yourself these gentle questions. Can I be fully myself in their presence? Do I trust how they show up in the world, not just the words they say? Your answers hold a sacred power. They might even set you free. Let this season be one that is rooted in your emotional sovereignty. You do not have to give away pieces of yourself to feel chosen. The right kind of love will not require your abandonment. It will call you even deeper into the beautiful truth of who you already are. I am reminded of a story about someone who prayed not for a specific person, but for a kind of love they had never known before. And on the day of a lunar eclipse, a day of profound cosmic alignment, they crossed paths again with someone from their past. Not through coincidence, but through divine timing. What once did not fit now had room to breathe. That moment did not come through striving. It came because they had quietly prepared their heart to receive it. So prepare, Cancer, not with urgency, but with honesty. Get clear on what your heart truly longs for. Then live in a way that creates a safe and sacred space for it to arrive. And when you feel that quiet pull, that soft, intuitive, unmistakable yes in your soul, trust it. You have already done the inner work. Let love meet you here. And if your soul is ready to receive it, anchor that intention now by commenting, "I welcome the sacred love born from light and maturity." Because sometimes simply naming your readiness is the very thing that calls it forth. Not every sacred calling arrives like a storm that parts the sky. Some reveal themselves in the quietest of moments when people instinctively look to you for nurturing, when your calm presence eases the emotional tension in a room, or when you bring a steady, compassionate heart to a situation where others bring only chaos. Cancer, if any part of that feels familiar to you, then you are already living the deepest message of this moment. You are not learning to become a guide. You already are one. And now the universe is placing a gentle hand upon your shoulder, asking you to see it, to accept it, and to step into it with a deeper and more conscious purpose. When the tarot cards of the High Priestess, the Star, and the Chariot appear together in a reading, it is not a random occurrence. This sacred trio reflects a profound energetic alignment, one that speaks to intuitive wisdom, hope, and the mastery of emotional navigation. The High Priestess reminds you to trust your deep inner knowing. The Star calls upon your healing light and quiet hope. And the Chariot, while often tied to willpower here, becomes an echo of your own true nature, urging you to steer through your emotional currents with grace and intention. Together, these cards outline a blueprint for a kind of sacred leadership. But it is the kind of leadership that does not chase recognition. It works quietly through resonance, through presence, and through an unwavering integrity. You might feel worn out from always being the one who holds the emotional ground, the one who acts as a bridge between conflicting feelings, the one who brings peace when others are quick to react. And perhaps you have wondered why so many people seem to lean on you without even asking. Why it seems you are the emotional stabilizer in your family, your friendships, and your community. But what if this is not a weight that you have been stuck with? What if this is your sacred assignment? What if your deep-rooted ability to steady the emotional field, to hold space instead of rushing into reaction, is your greatest, most needed gift to this world? Through the lens of astrology, a Cancer soul is not just nurturing. You have the ability to initiate with a cardinal presence, but you do so with the fluidity of a water sign. You do not command attention with noise. You nurture it with your presence. You guide not with force, but with empathy. And in a time when so many are flooded by emotional noise and mental clutter, your calm clarity is a balm that the world deeply aches for. Now may be the time to begin offering that gift more visibly. Not on a grand stage, but through quiet, intentional ripples. A thoughtful post on social media that brings emotional clarity to someone's day. A one-on-one conversation where your deep listening becomes a form of medicine. Even your daily way of showing up present, real, rooted in your feelings, becomes a form of leadership. And that presence matters more than you know. Some of the strongest waves of change in this world have begun with just one empathetic soul, choosing to live honestly, lovingly, and without pretense. The world does not just need more movement, it needs a safe harbor. And you, Cancer, are built for the harbor. You carry the weight of wisdom in your body. You steady the very air around you just by being there. And when you speak, when you write, when you teach, when you hold space, or when you simply are, you ripple out a change in ways you might not ever fully witness. So think of this moment not as a pressure, but as a quiet permission. You do not need to do more. You just need to allow more of who you already are to be seen. Nurturing, intuitive, aware, unshakable. You have been preparing for this through every silent choice you have ever made. Every time you chose peace instead of pride, softness instead of defense. Now those spiritual muscles are ready to serve something beyond just yourself. If you have been waiting for a signal to begin to offer something steady and sacred to your community, to speak your truth or share the path you have walked, let this be it. And if even a small part of you feels the resonance in these words, ground it through action. Speak it into form by writing, "I am ready to embody my intuitive wisdom. I am a guide for healing and emotional truth." You do not need permission from the world to begin. You already carry something far deeper, the alignment of purpose, the stability of earned wisdom, and the quiet pull of a soul who leads by simply being who they are. Keep walking. The world needs your nurturing light now more than ever. Cancer, if there is one message, one single truth I hope stays with you long after these words have faded, it is this: you are not being tested anymore. You are being trusted. Trusted with light. Trusted with a quiet strength. trusted with the steady, sacred task of becoming the very version of yourself that has been so gently unfolding just beneath the surface. The universe is no longer asking you to prove your worth. It is asking you to finally, fully receive it, and you have already done the work for that. The moments you chose faith when fear was at its loudest, the daily choices you made that were rooted in alignment, none of it, not a single moment, went unseen. Now the energy around you is shifting, not to train you, but to place you. Sometimes we wait for permission to step into our voice, to love out loud, to lead from our truth, to be fully known. But what if I told you that this was your permission slip? What if this was your cosmic yes? The moment the long pause ends and the true becoming begins. Not because you have perfected everything, but because you have finally arrived fully present with your path, your growth, and your own inner compass. You do not need to sprint. You do not need to control the whole journey, but you do need to choose. You need to meet this moment with readiness. And that begins with something small, a choice, a word, a single step. So let me ask you this gently. What would shift in your life today if you started behaving as if the life you have been praying for is already unfolding? What truth would you finally give voice to? What beautiful idea would you stop holding back? What part of you would you finally allow to rise now that you have outgrown the version of you that needed to stay hidden? The truth is, your light has never been waiting to be discovered. It has only been waiting for you to stop dimming it. This world does not need more noise or more perfection. It needs more truth. And when you move in your truth, rooted clear and soft in your certainty, the ripple of your energy travels farther than you can possibly imagine. If you found your way to this message, I promise you there is a reason. Something deep within your spirit pulled this transmission in. You are not here just to consume hope. You are here to awaken it within yourself. You are not just listening to words. You are activating a new frequency within your own being. And your energy is more important than you realize. So if something stirred within you, if a truth landed deeply in your heart, do not let it pass you by. Claim it, declare it, give it shape by taking even one small aligned action. Maybe that begins by writing this in the comments below. This is my season of light, love, and spiritual awakening. Maybe you share this message with another soul who needs to be reminded of who they truly are. Or maybe, just maybe, you close your eyes after this is over and whisper to the deepest part of yourself, I am ready. And if you have ever quietly wondered, am I truly worthy of the life I long for? The answer is not just yes. It is this: you were chosen for it. Not because you are flawless, but because your heart is and always has been willing to open. And before you leave this space, let me say this from the bottom of my soul. Thank you. Thank you for spending this moment here. Thank you for bringing your beautiful heart into this sanctuary. Thank you for trusting this message enough to truly feel it. Every time you comment, every time you share, every time you bring your gentle presence here, it becomes part of something so much bigger than just words. This space lives and breathes because of you and for you. If you have not yet, I warmly invite you to stay connected with us at Zodiac of Mind so you never miss another message that is meant just for your soul. And do not forget to speak your deepest truth in the comments one last time. I declare this is the most prosperous, loving, and spiritually awakened chapter of my life. You are the light. It is time to let the world feel it, and never ever again ask for permission to shine.